on 5th of February, I think I booked the meeting. That was the first meeting I had with him.
Ran an A/B test where we said, okay, you know what, maybe our positioning is not specific enough. I started thinking somewhere in the back of my mind that I should just learn more about this broad area of product marketing. Then I told, hey, we should reach out to her to check.
How did you really figure out that something was really wrong or could be improved?
The macro changed for us, and then I think we started looking more deeply into everything, right? Which is to say, hey, are we, focusing on the right products, right? People, etc., etc. We engaged somebody, and he pointed out that, hey, you could be doing a much better job, right? Like it's not very clear what exactly are you targeting. Our messages said things like automate operations, reduce cost, increase revenue, right? Like fairly generic stuff.
We took a first shot in December where we revamped messaging across multiple pages. There was, I think, a funnel that we were discussing. So earlier, our website used to talk about benefits. We went one level up when we started talking about features, but we wanted to go like 1 or 2 level up where we talk about actual customer pain points.
And then we were seeing success, and then we were like, look, we can do this ourselves. We'll probably make some incremental changes. But if somebody else comes in and takes a completely fresh pair of eyes, hopefully you get a non-incremental approach lift, so to say.
You were very clear that you want to refresh or sharpen the web copy. But then during the discussions, I suggested that we need to revisit the positioning.
A year and a half ago, I would not have bought into this. I would have been very hesitant, to do this. I was still in the mode of spend aggressively, grow crazy as fast as possible. By the time sort of we worked with you, I was already bought into this philosophy that, hey, we need to be narrower.
And you had asked this very valid question. Okay, we will refine our positioning, but how do we ensure that those value props are actually the ones that will resonate with the audience?
Before we started working with you, so when we were defining value props, those were purely, let's say, our own imagination. The benefit that we got by working with you is like you could understand those pain points, then convert them into a value prop in a very simple language.
One of the big value propositions was, one is how sort of you described, some of these things in terms of actual copy, but right from our first time we started working together, and what I was hoping for and what you actually, delivered exceedingly well on, was like a certain academic approach, as opposed to, like, as I was saying, right, ad hoc changing some stuff based on what I think or what I might think is cool.
So when I first submitted the first draft, it was probably twice as long as your original page and much wordier.
You want to go first? Otherwise, I'll go first.
I think it's like a common knowledge that I think people like to read shorter text or less other text and more catchy. We also had the same assumptions.
For me, in a way, I like the fact that it was dramatically different than the stuff we had been doing. What that told me is it's not an incremental thing on top of whatever we were doing. I was actually, in a way, more excited about doing that.
Compliment for you guys for being open to testing, in spite of the fact that it's very different from how you were earlier doing things. So even in the graphics, we went completely different. You replaced with just the product.
That I was crystal clear, like without needing an A/B test, that's a far better approach.
But I think we used to I would say refrain from using very technical language or the screenshot. But I think after that positioning exercise, we realized that our customer is somebody who will understand these.
How do you really measure the success of it?
We've definitely seen engagement improvements and all of those things. We've seen what seems to be conversion improvements as well. I also feel personally that somebody would understand our products better.
We are seeing customers who are actually, let's say, from the background that we want. Earlier, like we used to get customers from different teams, and then they'll probably later not go forward.
I don't know how many companies would be open from day zero to the idea of, a completely different approach, like an opinionated approach, which you bring, which is exactly what we were looking for.
Thanks for being so open and really sharing your thoughts.
Okay, Silky. Thank you.
Thank you.